expect him to struggle early since he hasn't had any preseason reps?
Oh, yeah, I do. He's not Superman, you know? Even if it was Patrick Mahomes, who is Superman, or Aaron Rodgers, who is Superman. Like, when was the last time Dak was in a game? Last October? Last October? You want him to not have any real game action for almost a year, for 11 months, and then week one, step out onto the field. And which field might that be? He's on the road at Tampa against the defending Super Bowl champions who happen to have quite a defense. Yeah, when you say early, Molly, I'm not saying it's going to be week 4 and it's like, what happened to Dak?
Yeah.
But week 1 out the gate, it ain't going to be pretty week 1, Stephen A., for Dak Prescott against that Tampa defense. And we even saw when last seen, you know, when they went 8-8, he put up those amazing numbers. A lot of that was because, well, first of all, he's a very good quarterback. There's no denying it. But a lot of it was because they had an awful defense, and they got to come back in games. They got to air it out in the second half so they can pile numbers a lot of times in losses. He might connect for some bombs in the second half, but it is not going to be a good day for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys week 1 against that Tampa defense on the road.
What,
hey, Max,
Southern Steve?
Hey, Max,
what do you want?
Max, thank you for making me laugh, because Max is sitting there talking as if it was going to be a good week for Dallas, even if Dak Prescott had been throwing the football. It's not going to be good anyway. I don't give a damn what condition he's in, okay? They going up against the reigning, defending Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday night game. Tom Brady already told Michael Irvin, get ready, because we coming. You understand what I'm saying? We going to do something to y'all. You know Tom Brady was at the Hall of Fame for Hall of Fame ceremony talking major smack. Don't get me wrong, the Dallas Cowboys offense, I think, is going to do its thing to some degree. You can't have that many weapons and do nothing. You got Dak, you got Ezekiel Elliott. Your offensive line should look better. You got Gallup and Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. There is no excuse whatsoever. Even your offensive coordinator, somebody that's been on the job a few years now, continuity, just consistency, knowing what you're doing, developing that chemistry with one another. You're in sync. There's no excuses. The bottom line is that Dak Prescott needs to chill, doesn't need to throw too much, doesn't need to participate in preseason action, because he needs to make sure his arm is as strong as it needs to be so he could go out there and fling that football. No matter what way you slice it, it still wasn't looking good for them for week 1. So I don't know why everybody's acting like, oh my God, do we expect Dak to struggle early without playing in the preseason? How about do we expect Dak to struggle early? Period. And stop right there. Because I don't give a damn whether he was playing in the preseason or not. Going up against Tampa week 1 with that putrid defense that doesn't have anywhere to go but up. Thank God they drafted Micah Parsons out of Penn State. In the end, what it comes down to is that Dallas is going to be the prohibitive underdog because their defense stinks. We all know it. At least we knew it from last year. We expect them to improve, but we don't know how much improvement is going to take place. And very little to nothing is going to be expected from the Dallas Cowboys. So all I'm trying to say is that Max sitting back and talking like, oh my God, you're just going to go out there after not playing any preseason, not developing any chemistry. You haven't been throwing the football.
They got a built-in excuse now.
Your timing's down. Your timing's not down. And all of this, it don't make a bit of difference. I don't care if Dak Prescott played every preseason game, every down of every preseason game. It ain't going to make any difference opening night. I tell you that.
I think the Cowboys would certainly lose that game whether or not Dak had a preseason. But we're talking specifically about how Dak will look. Now, Here's the difference between this year and last year. Last year, no one had a preseason. Everyone was in the same boat. But this year, guys do. Even if it's one fewer game, right? One less game, they got 3 instead of 4. But these other players, including on the defenses, are in rhythm by the time the season starts. Dak won't be. I mean, you saw in Hard Knocks the first episode, Stephen A., he's champing at the bit to get in there. They're trying to hold him back. He's still overdoing it and winds up hurt. If you shut this guy, if he doesn't play in the preseason, he's farther behind the 8 ball than he would otherwise be, regardless of whether they lose to the Bucs or not. Now, if you want to ask, does this actually help the Cowboys in a weird way? I think it does. Long term, I think it does, because it takes a little pressure off in terms of expectations early. It builds in an excuse while the offensive line that hasn't played together healthy in a while gets that together while the defense tries to acclimate and come back from the awful season last year, while they integrate some major pieces, young pieces, on the defensive end. You mentioned Parsons. Obviously, he should have an impact. It buys them a little time in terms of expectations and built-in excuses. That's different than asking, is Dak going to struggle early? Yes, I think if he doesn't get into preseason games, let me be very clear, he'll be worse than he would have been had he gotten into preseason games. And since that's the Tampa defense, I think he will struggle early.
I think a couple of weeks in action, meaning in practice, Max Kellerman. I think that Dak ultimately, muscle memory kicks in, repetition, etc., and as a result, you end up being just fine and doing what it is that you do. Those couple of weeks, Max, are going to be the week leading in to the Tampa Bay game on opening night, Thursday night, and then the 10 days following to game 2. Those are the 2 weeks, Max. And as a result, I think he's going to be fine. And if that is something that you co-sign with, Max, then guess what? Like I said, it's normal because you were going to lose week 1 anyway.
You know why I don't co-sign? You'll appreciate this.
Week 1 anyway. That's what's going to happen.
You know why I don't co-sign, and you'll appreciate this?
Why?
Who's he practicing against as opposed to a preseason game? Who's he practicing against?
There's Dallas Cowboys defense.
There you go. There you go. He's not playing a real defense.
He
He looked
in
great.
practice.
He looked great the first 5 games before he got injured. For me, it all comes down to if he's healthy or not. That's really what it is. Not the reps, not the preseason.
What were
The
the
shoulder.
records in those games, Mom?
He had record-setting
3-2.
numbers. He put
What
up
was their
1,690
record, Molly?
yards and 4.
Because they were playing from behind.
I said, what was
Dak.
the Cowboys' record? I didn't ask you about Dak Prescott's numbers. What was their record in those
Were they
games?
3-2
He
or
looked
2-3?
so
I
beautiful.
don't even remember.
Right?
I'm not sure on that.
They were a
I'll have to
game
check the
above
research.
I think it was like 1.
500.
I think they were 1-3 on the way to a 2-3 record. And
Well, I
by the
blame the
way,
defense,
they were
not
coming
Dak.
back
you're
from
right.
a
No, you're
deficit.
right.
They
Remember
were coming back from a deficit.
They won the game on one of the biggest blunders of the year. 5 defenders
Atlanta
stealing the
Falcons.
What do you
ball.
want from me?
Atlanta
Right.
Falcons.